being cultivated, the farmer will be better for it because he gets more income and things like that. Then another role of agricultural extension is that it changes people's attitude towards their problems, bringing about solution. Okay, this one you can do it this way. This is solution to this particular disease that is manifesting on your crops. This is what you should use. Okay, next time you want to plant, don't plant it this way, do it that way. That's what agricultural extension does. Then it teaches them land management techniques. Okay, instead of farming for 7 years consecutively without letting the farm land rest, okay, after farming for 3 years, let the ground fallow, or apply this fertilizer, do this method, do crop rotation, do shifting cultivation, do this, do that. So it helps them, or it teaches them about land management techniques. Then the next one is that it's supervised agricultural development programs. There are a lot of agricultural development programs that the government organizes. So the extension workers supervises it. Okay, this is the next program the government is bringing to the farmer. So they are the ones that they make it practicable rather than what the government reads to the public. They are the ones that work it out. Then the next role of agricultural extension is that they identify proper marketing channels. Okay, they can buy the goods from the farmer, get it to the cooperative, get it to the middlemen, or get it to the export merchants. So they can help the farmer, aside planting and making sure he harvests properly. They can also assist him in marketing the produce or connecting to the proper marketing channels. Another role of agricultural extension is acquisition of skills. Okay, they come to teaching the farmer. They teach him skills, new ways to do things to make his work better and easier. So the farmer acquires skills from agricultural extension. There are 3 methods of agricultural extension. The first is individual method. The individual method of extension, this includes home and farm visits, telephone calls, personal letters, emails, text messages, and aimed at direct contact between the farmer and the extension agents. So it's like a one-on-one thing. The extension agent comes to this particular farmer, okay, do this, monitors him, maybe via phones or personal contacts, farm visits, visiting him at home. So it's a direct contact between the extension agent and the farmer. Then the advantages and disadvantages of the individual method is this. First advantage, it gives and obtains information that will be useful to the farmers and researcher. So the extension agents brings information that is useful to the farmer as well as for the researcher. Is the middleman. He tells the farmer, okay, this is what is discovered now, this is the way you should do it. And maybe the farmer practices it and encounters a particular problem. It's the agent that still carries that information to the researcher. Okay, so that the researcher will be able to, okay, this is the problem we encounter, let's do it this way. So it's the one that is the middleman between the farmer and the researcher. Individual method can only work for a small group of farmers. If you as an extension agent, you have to work with about 2,000 farmers. You cannot afford to be going to their house one by one. So individual method will work for a small group of farmers, maybe like say 15, 20, 30. Then the next advantage is that more attention is given to the individual farmer than any other method. When you relate one-on-one with individuals, you discover that what you are teaching or the information you are passing is more effective than when you have a large class or a large group of people that you are talking to. So it is more effective than other methods. Then it may involve the use of telephone, which makes information dissemination faster. You can just dial the number of the farmer. Oh, farmer, I just want to tell you, I want to remind you that particular chemical, you should apply it tomorrow morning. Or by evening today, you should do this. So it makes information dissemination very fast. The extension worker does not have to travel down to the village all the time, since he has a personal contact with the farmer. Now, disadvantages of the individual method. First, it is a time-consuming method because you have to move from one farmer to the other and you monitor their progress one by one. Then it's also a very tedious method because it is time-consuming. It is tedious because you have to follow the farmer up one by one. The peculiarity of the problems that they have the extension worker will have to look into it. Then another disadvantage is that the extension worker cannot reach many farmers doing individual method with them. He cannot reach many of them. He will have to concentrate on only a few. Then it may be very expensive, because when you do something in bulk, it is cheaper than when you do it in bits. So working with individual farmer is more expensive than doing with a group. Now, the next method of agricultural extension is group method. It involves the working together with groups of farmers under the supervision of the extension worker or workers. Maybe one extension worker may have more than one, e.g. in meetings, in demonstrations, in workshops, seminars, agricultural shows, debates, lectures, and the like. So you meet with a group of them, let's say 15, 20, and the like. So that's another method. Then the advantages of group method is that it enables the extension worker to reach out to many farmers at a time. Can reach out to them, can talk to all of them together. It saves his time and money too. Then it is not as tedious as the case of the individual method, because they are talking to 500, 1,000, 200, 100 farmers together at the same time. Then farmers tend to show more interest in what may be introduced when they are in group. It's not like he's the only one hearing the strange thing, so they may be more interested. Now, the disadvantages of the group method: some members of the group may easily discourage others because they are able to say, oh, what are they saying? That thing is rubbish. So one person in the group saying contrary to what you are saying as an extension worker will discourage the others. That's a disadvantage. Then the extension agent may not always find all the members of the groups to be present at all the time. That may not rule out, because the schedules of the farmers are different, their health status, family functions, and the likes may not make them to be always available. You may not always have all the farmers together at the same time. Another disadvantage is that extension officers may not be enough to carry out their jobs in many of the groups. If one extension worker is working with like 50 people, it may not be thorough enough. Now, the third method of agricultural extension is the mass method. This involves the dissemination of information through special medias of communication to the farmers. For instance, the use of posters, the use of billboards, newspapers, television, internet, and the likes. That is mass method. When you just come to the television station, you tell farmers, okay, this program is for the farmer. Let's say Farmers Time, Farmers Out, Agbeloba, things like that. There are some programs that are being organized for farmers that farmers listen to on radio or on TV that educates them and helps them to be better, helps their farming work to be better. Advantages and disadvantages of mass method. Advantages first. They can reach out to a large audience provided it is within means. You can reach out to all the farmers in a country via mass method at just a single meeting like this. You can be talking to all of them provided they can get to that media that you are disseminating the information through. Then they may not require presence of extension agents. The next thing is that time wasting and stress involved in going round the farmers are eliminated. The extension worker is just on the TV or just on the radio instructing the farmers. So his work is kind of reduced. The stress is minimal. Then farmers can put the new ideas to use by themselves. So when the methods or the ideas are properly described to the farmers, they can go to practicalize it on their own. Then information on print media lasts long. For instance, when you print things on paper, posters, and things like that, it will last very long, provided it is not destroyed. It will just be there as long as you keep it. Then the disadvantages of the mass method. First is that they are very expensive to operate. You go into a radio station or a television station to do a 50 or 30 minutes slot, you know what it costs, or a 15 minutes slot, so it's very expensive. Then they are only useful to educated farmers most times. Farmers that cannot read or write or even understand the language they are speaking will not get benefits from that mass media you are doing. Then they are only available to farmers who are wealthy enough to own television and radio sets. A farmer that does not have a radio set or a television set cannot get what you are saying via radio or television. Then farmers may find it difficult to ask questions on matters which they do not understand. Since they don't see you face to face, they cannot express or ask their questions, except in a few cases where the farmers are asked to contact you as an extension agent through some other means. So they may not be able to ask questions or express their minds on what they do not understand. Now, we have agricultural extension programs in Nigeria. We have various agricultural extension programs in Nigeria, and these are a list of them. First, we have agricultural development projects. We have agro service centers where you get your chemicals, seeds, and the likes. Then we have Operation Feed Yourself, farm settlement schemes, river basin and rural development authorities. We have the National Agricultural Land Development Agencies. We have Directorate for Food, Roads, Rural Infrastructure, the DFRRI. We have the National Farmer Development Projects. We have Operation Feed the Nation, Back to Land, Operation Feed Your Industry, that is OFYI. These are agricultural extension programs that we have in Nigeria. Now, on the final note of this agricultural extension, I'll be talking about the problems that an agricultural extension worker or officer faces. First is high level of farmers' illiteracy. Most of the farmers are illiterate. They don't know how to read or write. So it's a big problem. Before the extension agents can communicate to the farmer the idea is bringing. Then another thing is absence of credit facility for the extension worker. Before he moves from one village to the other, he needs some money to do that. So once credit is not available, then the work may not be easy. Then insufficient motivation of extension agents. Extension agents leave the urban area to go to rural areas where you have the farmer. So once he's not motivated, there is no money that's encouraging him, there is nothing that is gingering him to do that work, then he may not really do it well. Feeling is going from where he has all the infrastructure to where they are minimal. Then inadequate resources, such as funds, is another problem that an agricultural extension officer faces. Then unfavorable attitude of farmers. Farmers, most of these farmers are in the rural area. They feel they know more because it is what is handed over to them from their forefathers. Like, okay, their great-grandfather was a farmer, he taught them how to do this farming, he has been doing it for so long, and you as a young person that went to school to study agriculture, or you are an extension agent coming to tell them something, they may give you a very bad attitude. So that's another challenge facing the agricultural extension officer. Then uncoordinated effort by government agencies. When the efforts of the extension worker is not coordinated, it's another problem. Poor transportation network. The extension agent has to move from one place to the other. So, and if the road network is bad, then it is not easy or convenient for the extension officer to do that. Then another problem is language barrier, especially when the extension agent does not understand the language of the farmers. Maybe he can only communicate in English or in his own dialect, and he doesn't understand what they are saying. Then it will be a serious problem to disseminate information to people you don't understand their language or they don't understand yours. Then the last problem I'll be talking about is inadequate publicity. When the agencies the farmers are not properly informed. Like, okay, we have the extension agents coming next week, so all the farmers should gather at the King's Palace by 2 p.m. So when there is no inadequate publicity, the work of the extension worker is not effective in that kind of situation. So those are the problems that an agricultural extension officer faces.